This is the Cougar Football Preview. Brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Snap back, blind side is open, hit ball pops out, big sack by the Cougs, scooped up at the 40, he could take it, Frankie Luvu 30, hand up in the air with blockers to the 5, touchdown.
Chance to go 4-0 against Nevada, 3 o'clock kick on Saturday. Guessed 1-0 in the Pac-12 after a convincing win over Oregon State. What are some of the keys to this game against the Wolfpack? You and I watched some film in the Cougar Football Complex. What do you see against the Wolfpack?
Yeah, number one, I think it's going to be about the game within the game, and that's winning the battle in the trenches. So the big boys up front, both offensively and defensively. When you look at their stats, Chaz, they've rushed the ball against Idaho State 56 times for 218 yards and 1 touchdown. So they're going to try to establish that run. They're going to try to shorten the game, run the ball up front, and that's one thing that the Cougar defense and the defensive line especially needs to be able to do. Dominate the line of scrimmage, show them why we're the Pac-12, why we're in the conference talk, and why we're nationally ranked. If you look at other things of where their defense is giving up 154 yards rushing per game, and that's against Northwestern, Toledo, and Idaho State. Toledo and Idaho State are traditionally throwing teams. Right. So to be able to go and have 154 yards rushing, that goes onto our offensive line. Now they're going to play a 3-down defensive line front, and they're going to bring those backers off the edge like we saw. That's going to also play into our offensive line getting to the second level and our inside receivers blocking downfield. If they can establish that, we can run the ball and not just be one-dimensional by throwing the football down.
Nevada's offensive coordinator is Matt Mumme, who is Hal Mumme's son, and they run a version of the air raid. But like you said, they almost had 2 100-yard rushers last game in their loss to Idaho State. So go figure. All right, second key, what you got?
So second key, Chaz, it's going to be keep the momentum going and keep that ball going to the outside receivers. One of the things, if you look back to last week, our top 3 receivers, Tavares Martin Jr., 10 receptions, 194 yards, 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Johnson-Mack, 9 receptions, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Des Patman, 6 receptions, 68 yards. Our top 3 receivers were all our outside guys. And the way that Nevada plays, and we saw on the film, they're going to want to go and start bringing some pressures. And they're going to play a lot of man defense, which allows those one-on-one matchups on the outside. If they're going to sit there and say, we're going to take away your run and your running backs because we know how potent they are, we're going to have that matchup on the outside. Keep Luke Falk going, keep those outside receivers happy, feed the beast, keep that momentum rolling.
The fans kind of had been waiting for those outside guys to come alive and the air raid to look like the air raid with those big numbers and 6 touchdowns and no picks from Luke. What a game. All right, third key, what do you have?
Third key, it's all about explosives. So explosive means 20 yards or more on those plays. When you look at games like this, when you're favored in a ball game, one way that the other team can get a part of it or get feeling like they're feeling good and they can actually compete is by hitting some big plays down the field. And so defensively, limiting those. Go up, rally, make the tackle, keep everything in front of them, and Coach Grinch has been doing a great job of that so far this year, not giving up very many explosive plays. Now, offensively, Washington State, we've gotten a lot of explosive plays, or a handful, and we've gotten 12 of them in the pass and 3 of them through the run. Now, 9 of those 12 came against Oregon State.
Right.
And Oregon State played what? A lot of man. So that's going to allow us, again, to create those explosive plays down the field. And if you can do that, that goes and takes the win out of itself. Any team, when you have those big chunk plays to go down the field and score in a heartbeat like we did against Oregon State, that really goes and puts the other team down and just a mental drag for their defense and saying, man, these guys are too good.
Tavares with the 57-yarder, 21-yarder, and Johnson-Mack with a 20-yarder. All 3 of those were explosive TDs. All right, 3 o'clock kick in Martin Stadium against Nevada. The Wolfpack, chance to go 4-0 and continue to maybe shift up in the rankings before USC.
This has been the Cougar Football Preview. Brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.